do anything. He can make perfection and He can make imperfection. He can make one see and He can make one blind. He can make one white. He can make one black. He's God. He said, I created the light and I created the darkness. In other words, I can do whatever I want to because I'm God. But I want my people outside of me, because when a mother gives birth to a young, to a baby, then that mother can teach that baby its ways, and that father can teach that baby its ways. And God said, I want my children outside of me where I can teach them my ways.
Come on. Yeah.
I want that baby. I want those sons and daughters. I feel them moving inside of me. I feel them ready to come forth. And He said, I'm going to reach in there. This is just the insight that God has given me. Go with me here for a second. He reached in His side and He pulled out a handful of water. The spirit of His children. And He hovered over His hand, and He looked down in His hand, and He saw His reflection for the first time, because He says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. So that means He had to get outside of Himself when He put us outside of His womb. And so He hovered over Himself, and God saw Himself for the first time, and He said, this is good. Let there be light. And the only reason God created light is because in the Spirit we were in the bosom, and in the Spirit we were in the darkness, because in the Spirit we were in the rest of God. In the Spirit there was perfection. In the Spirit there was no sin. And then when we were on the outside of God, we were entered into the realm of sin. And He said, so this place is going to be afflicted with evil. Because I want a place for my children to be able to decide good from evil on their own. Even the fall was ordained. Yeah. So He looked down into His hands, and this is the insight that God gave Him. There's lines in your hand, right? Palm readers, they ain't got nothing over the children of God. Let me tell you what the lines in your hand represent. We're in His image, right? So if we have lines in our hand, guess what He has? Lines in His hands. And let me tell you what the lines in His hands did for us. When He pulled us out of His womb, and we were a handful of water, He looked down into the handful of water and He said, this is good, let there be light. You know, because they're on the outside of me now. They don't understand darkness anymore. They don't understand the depths of the Father anymore. So because I'm going to have to put them in the arms of a natural father, because now children had to come through the curse of the birth. I wish I had somebody. This isn't Vacation Bible School Arts and Crafts. We ain't going to glue no beans on no poster board today. We're going to understand our Maker. And so the lines in your hands became the valleys. And the inner knuckles of His hands became the mountaintops. And some scientists have said, my God, I feel the Holy Spirit. Some scientists have found out and have recorded in history now that there's certain parts of the sea that have no bottom. So the depths of the palm of God's hand, and the Psalms are full of God's hand, the palm of His hand. This is what I'm telling the confirmation, and I don't have time to tell you all the scriptures I know from 24 years of revelation and insight from my Father. But I can tell you that the Psalms are full of the palm of God, of His hand.
Yes, we thank you for your hand.
Because it was His hand that reached inside of His bosom and brought out His pride and joy. His sons and his daughters. And I said, God, what? The sea. There's some parts of the sea that they cannot find a bottom to. And he said that was the hole in my hand that my son would take for my people.